I hope, and I believe I have, raised my son to be very, very proud to be Cambodian.
We said, but it has to be with Maddox because this is going to be when he really gets, he goes back to Cambodia often. He knows what it is to be Cambodian. But he also is, because it's from the perspective of a child.
There was a time when almost everyone believed Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie had the perfect Hollywood love story. Every red carpet appearance looked magical. Every family photo made them seem happy. Together, they were raising 6 children, traveling the world, and starring in some of the biggest movies ever made. Fans called them the couple that could survive anything. But behind the expensive homes, flashing cameras, and smiling faces, another story was quietly growing. It was a story filled with stress, pressure, arguments, and painful moments that almost no one outside their family could see. Years later, pieces of that hidden story would finally come into the light, leaving millions of people shocked by what they thought they knew. The truth is, no relationship is ever as simple as it looks from the outside. Brad and Angelina first became close while filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2004. Their chemistry was impossible to ignore, and soon rumors began spreading everywhere. At the time, Brad was still married to Jennifer Aniston, making the situation one of the biggest celebrity stories in the world. When Brad and Angelina finally became a couple, they faced endless criticism. Many believed their relationship would never last. But instead of falling apart, they built a family together, adopted children from different countries, welcomed biological children, and became known for both their acting careers and humanitarian work. It looked like they had proven everyone wrong. Or, at least, that was what the public believed. As the years passed, however, the pressure surrounding them never disappeared. Fame followed them everywhere. Every vacation became front-page news. Every interview was examined word by word. Every small disagreement became another headline. Living under that kind of attention can place enormous pressure on any family, even one with endless money and success. Friends later described both Brad and Angelina as passionate people with strong personalities. While that passion helped create an exciting relationship in the beginning, it also meant disagreements could quickly become emotional. Still, they managed to keep most of those struggles private, allowing fans to continue believing everything was perfect. Then came 2014, when they finally married after nearly a decade together. Many people saw the wedding as the happy ending they had been waiting for. It was a private ceremony surrounded by their children, making it seem like their family was stronger than ever. News outlets celebrated the event, calling them Hollywood royalty. Yet what nobody realized was that the marriage would last only about 2 years before everything changed forever. Looking back today, some fans wonder whether the warning signs were already there, but hidden behind carefully planned public appearances. The biggest surprise came in September 2016, when Angelina suddenly filed for divorce. The announcement shocked the entertainment world. One day, they were Hollywood's most admired couple, and the next they were heading toward one of the longest and most emotional celebrity legal battles ever seen. The official reason listed was irreconcilable differences, a phrase people often hear during celebrity divorces. But many quickly suspected there was far more to the story than those simple words suggested. The sudden filing raised countless questions, and everyone wanted answers. As more information slowly emerged through public reporting and later court filings, attention turned toward an incident aboard a private flight in 2016. According to allegations made in legal documents, the flight became a major turning point in their relationship. Brad Pitt has denied allegations of abusive conduct, while investigations by authorities concluded without criminal charges being filed. Even so, the incident became central to years of legal disputes and public discussion. The differing accounts from both sides left people wondering what had truly happened during those tense hours. And that mystery only made the story even more compelling. Before we continue, here's something to think about. Do you believe the public ever truly knows what happens inside a celebrity's private life, or do headlines only tell part of the story? Share your opinion in the comments, because this question has divided fans for years, and the answer may not be as simple as it seems. But if you think this was already the most shocking part of the story, what happened next would completely change the way millions of people viewed one of Hollywood's most famous couples forever. For months after the divorce filing, both Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie said very little in public. That silence only made people more curious. Every court hearing, every leaked document, and every new report became headline news around the world. Fans searched for clues, trying to understand how a couple that once looked so deeply in love had reached such a painful ending. The mystery grew even larger because neither side was telling the full story in interviews. Instead, the answers slowly appeared through legal filings, making every new update feel like another missing piece of a giant puzzle. As the years passed, more court documents became public, revealing allegations made by Angelina about the events that led to the end of their marriage. She claimed she wanted to protect her children and explained why she believed leaving the relationship was necessary. Brad, on the other hand, continued to deny allegations that he had been abusive toward his family. His representatives consistently maintained that many accusations against him were exaggerated or unfair. Because of these conflicting accounts, the public found itself divided. Some people believed Angelina was finally telling the truth she had carried for years. Others believed Brad was being judged before the complete story was ever known. One detail that kept returning to the headlines was the private plane incident. According to legal filings, that day marked a breaking point in the family's life. Authorities, including the FBI and child welfare officials, looked into the matter, but no criminal charges were filed against Brad Pitt. Even so, the emotional impact of the incident continued to shape nearly every legal battle that followed. Court records and public reporting kept bringing people back to that single day, making it one of the most discussed moments in Hollywood history. But the divorce itself was only the beginning. As legal proceedings continued, another battle quietly started growing behind the scenes. This time, it wasn't only about custody or family matters. It involved millions of dollars, a famous French winery, and years of business disagreements. The property, known as Chateau Miraval, had once represented love, celebration, and their future together. They were married there, raised their family there, and invested heavily in turning it into a successful wine business. Now, that same place had become another reason for courtroom fights and bitter accusations. Angelina later sold her share of the winery to another company, a decision that Brad strongly opposed. He argued that they had agreed not to sell their interests without each other's permission. Angelina's legal team disagreed, saying she had every right to move forward after years of failed negotiations. Lawsuits and countersuits followed, adding even more tension to an already painful divorce. What had once been a symbol of happiness became another reminder of how deeply their relationship had fallen apart. Fans who once admired their fairy tale romance watched as every new legal filing seemed to reveal another layer of conflict. During all of this, the couple's children were growing older. Many of them stayed out of the spotlight, but from time to time, small moments caught the public's attention. Reports suggested that some of the children had difficult relationships with Brad, though the family has largely kept these matters private. Because they are personal family issues, much remains unknown, and it is important not to assume more than what has been publicly reported. Still, seeing such a famous family go through years of emotional court battles reminded many people that wealth and fame cannot protect anyone from heartbreak. Right at the point when many believed the story was finally coming to an end, something unexpected happened. New court filings brought fresh allegations and new arguments into the public eye, causing headlines to explode once again. It felt as though every time one chapter closed, another one opened. The case refused to disappear, and both sides continued fighting over issues that reached far beyond a normal celebrity divorce. If you're still watching, this is a moment to subscribe because the next part reveals how years of silence turned into one of Hollywood's longest legal wars, and why many people believe the biggest twist was still waiting to come. Years after the divorce was first announced, many people expected the legal battles to finally come to an end. Instead, they became even more complicated. Every few months, another court filing would appear, another statement would be released, and another wave of headlines would spread across social media. It almost felt as if the story refused to end. What had started as the breakup of Hollywood's most famous couple had turned into one of the longest celebrity legal disputes anyone could remember. And with every new development, the public became even more divided over who was telling the truth. One of the biggest reasons the case remained in the spotlight was that it was no longer just about two movie stars ending their marriage. It had become about trust, family, business, reputation, and the lasting impact of deeply personal conflicts. Court documents continued to reveal disagreements over finances, property, and decisions made during and after the marriage. Lawyers on both sides argued their cases with determination, while reporters carefully examined every filing for new details. Even the smallest legal update quickly became breaking news because millions of people around the world were still following the story. As more information entered the public record, Angelina continued to argue through legal filings that she had spoken out because she believed it was necessary to protect herself and her children. Brad continued to deny allegations of abusive behavior and maintained that many of the claims made against him were either inaccurate or incomplete. Because these are contested claims made in legal proceedings, many questions remain unresolved in the public eye. That uncertainty is one reason why the story continues to generate debate even today. Depending on which reports people read, they often came away with very different opinions. The emotional cost of such a long legal battle is difficult to measure. While the public focused on headlines and courtroom drama, both parents were also trying to move forward with their lives. Brad returned to acting, produced successful films, and spoke publicly about working on personal growth after the divorce. Angelina continued directing films, supporting humanitarian causes, and spending time with her children. On the surface, both appeared to be rebuilding their lives. But behind every public appearance was the reality that the legal conflict was still continuing, quietly shaping their future. For the children, growing up while the entire world watched could not have been easy. They had spent much of their childhood surrounded by cameras, reporters, and endless public attention. As they became adults, some chose to stay away from the spotlight as much as possible. Others appeared alongside Angelina during public events, leading fans to speculate about family relationships. But the truth is that only the family truly knows what those private relationships look like today. Public reports can never fully explain what happens inside a family dealing with years of emotional conflict. One lesson many people have taken from this story is that fame does not protect anyone from pain. Millions of dollars, beautiful homes, successful careers, and worldwide admiration could not stop a relationship from breaking apart. The glamorous images seen on magazine covers captured only a few carefully chosen moments. They never showed the difficult conversations, the disagreements, or the emotional struggles happening behind closed doors. For many viewers, that realization became one of the most heartbreaking parts of the entire story. Now think about your own life for a moment. Have you ever realized that someone's life looked perfect from the outside, only to discover they were quietly struggling with problems nobody else could see? Let us know in the comments, because stories like this remind us that appearances can often hide much deeper realities. But even after years of lawsuits, public statements, and endless headlines, one final question still remains unanswered. Will Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie ever truly close this chapter of their lives? Or will new legal battles continue to bring the past back into the spotlight? The final part reveals why this story still refuses to fade away, and why many believe its biggest lesson has nothing to do with Hollywood at all. For nearly a decade, the story of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie has continued to capture the world's attention. What once seemed like a glamorous Hollywood romance slowly transformed into a complicated legal battle that changed the lives of everyone involved. Even today, people continue to debate what really happened. But one important fact should never be forgotten. Much of what the public knows comes from court filings, public statements, and media reports, while many private details remain known only to the family themselves. That means no outsider can honestly claim to know the complete story. What is clear, however, is that both Brad and Angelina have tried to move forward in different ways. Brad is focused on his acting career, film production, and personal growth, openly discussing in past interviews how difficult the years after the separation were for him. Angelina has continued directing films, supporting humanitarian work, and raising her children while remaining active in causes she has supported for many years. Their paths are now completely separate, but they remain connected through the family they built together. No matter what happens in court, that part of their story can never be erased. Looking back, many fans admit they were surprised by how quickly public opinion changed over the years. At first, many people rushed to choose a side. Some strongly supported Angelina after reading the allegations made in legal filings. Others defended Brad, pointing out that he has denied those allegations and that authorities did not bring criminal charges against him following investigations. As more information became public, many realized that situations involving families are often far more complicated than simple headlines suggest. The internet may encourage people to pick winners and losers, but real life rarely works that way. Perhaps the biggest lesson from this story has nothing to do with celebrity at all. It reminds us that no relationship is truly perfect, no matter how beautiful it appears on television, in magazines, or on social media. The smiling photographs shown to the world captured only a few moments in time. Behind those pictures were real people facing real challenges, making difficult decisions, and dealing with consequences that would affect their family for years. That reality is something almost anyone can understand, whether they are famous or not. Another reason this story continues to fascinate people is because it changed the way many fans look at celebrity culture. For years, Hollywood sold the image of a perfect couple. Brad and Angelina were often described as powerful, successful, and deeply in love. When that image collapsed, people realized just how carefully public appearances can shape what we believe. It became a reminder that fame often shows only the highlights, while the hardest moments stay hidden until much later, if they ever become public at all. If there's one thing this long journey has proven, it's that the truth is rarely simple. Legal cases can last for years, memories can differ, and public opinion can shift with every new headline. That is why it's important to separate verified facts from rumors, and to remember that ongoing public discussions do not always reveal the full picture. In the end, only the people who lived through these events know every detail of what happened behind closed doors. Before this video ends, we'd love to hear from you. After hearing this entire story, do you think Hollywood relationships face pressures that ordinary families never experience? Or do you believe every family struggles in similar ways, no matter how famous they are? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your opinion could start an interesting discussion with other viewers. And remember, this story may be one of Hollywood's most talked about breakups, but it's far from the only one. Behind the fame, the money, and the flashing cameras are stories that are often even more unbelievable than anything shown on screen. In our next video, we'll uncover another celebrity secret that remained hidden for years. And when you hear what happened, you'll understand why some of Hollywood's biggest stories are still waiting to be told.